Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wager Detective here, June 2nd, 2026, reporting live from Tropicana Hotel and Casino and coming at you with the Wager Detective report for the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Atlanta Braves. Before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, comment on all those sites. Wager Detective appreciates all the support from his fans now and future fans, and I love you guys. All right, let's get into this cap. The Blue Jays this year, they are 6-4 in their last 10. They're 12-18 in road games this year, and they're 8-11 in one-run games. Now, when we look at what they do against the Braves, they are 6-3 in their last 9 versus the Braves, 4 over, 5 under. That's 7.5 that's set tonight. And also, the Blue Jays are plus 100, and the Braves are minus 118, and the over/under set at 7.5. The over's coming in at minus 122. The under's coming in at plus 100. And as you can see on the screen there, winds are blowing in at 11 miles per hour. So some precipitation possibly in the air that could dampen the air, and maybe the ball doesn't carry as much tonight. But let's get back into this cap. Again, Blue Jays 6-3 last 9, 4 over, 5 under to that 7.5. Last 9 versus the Braves, Blue Jays scoring 4.44 runs per game average to 3.44 for the Braves. Comes out to 7.88 runs per game average. In their last 9 versus the Braves, the Blue Jays have scored 5+ 4 times, and the Braves have scored 5+ 3 times in that split. Now, last 9 at the Braves, the Blue Jays are 5-4, 4 over, 5 under. Last 9 in Atlanta, they're scoring 4 runs a game to 3.88 for the Braves. Comes out to exactly the same, 7.88 runs per game average. In that split, last 9 at the Braves, the Blue Jays have scored 5+ 3 times, and the Braves have scored 5+ 2 times. Now, getting into this year, the Blue Jays in road night games this year, they're 8-9, 8 over, 9 under. They're scoring 3.53 runs per game to 3.88 for their opponents. In their 17 road night games this year, they have scored 5+ 5 times, but they've scored 2 runs or less 8 times. So, something to keep in mind there as we get further into this cap. Now, the last 9 overall for the Blue Jays, they are 5-4, 5 over, 4 under. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 4.11 for their opponents. Comes out to 8.11 runs per game average. In their last 9 games overall, the Blue Jays have scored 5+ 5 times, and their opponents have scored 5+ 4 times, and they've scored 5+ 3 straight games in the Blue Jays' last 9 games. So something to keep in mind there. Teams are hitting the Blue Jays pitching pretty well over the last 3 games. Again, Blue Jays opponents have scored 5+ in 3 straight games versus them over their last 9 games overall. So, but the Blue Jays 5-4 in their last 9, not bad. I expect a little regression to what their opponents are scoring with Gausman on the mound, and we'll get into that as the cap goes on. Now, interleague games. The Blue Jays are 8-10 in interleague games this year, 9 over, 9 under. In their 18 interleague games this year, they're scoring 3.77 runs per game to 3.94 for their opponents. Comes in at 7.71 runs per game average. So, not really scoring. They're scoring sub 4 runs per game in their 18 interleague games. But again, they are scoring 4 runs a game in their last 9, and they're scoring 4.44 last 9 meetings with the Blue Jays. Okay, now situational angle of this cap. Road-to-road series with 1 day off. In that split, the Blue Jays are 4-3 in their last 7 in that split. So road-to-road series where they have a day off in between, and then they start the next series on the road. They are 4-3 in their last 7 in that split. 4 over and 3 under. They're scoring 4 runs a game to 4.14 for their opponents. So again, they're right around that 4 runs per game average in all these splits that we're looking at, 4 to 4+. But again, their interleague games, they're only scoring 3.77. So something to keep in mind there. And in their 18 interleague games, they've scored 2 runs or less 9 times. So in 18 interleague games this year, half of those games versus the interleague, they've scored 2 or less half of the time, 9 of those games. So something to keep in mind there. But their opponents as well have scored 2 or less in those interleague games 9 times as well. So something to keep in mind as we get into this cap, right? Sit in, listen, throw the headset on. This is where you're going to get the real gist of the Wager Detective report. Now, on the mound tonight, Gausman Kevin Gausman's going to be on the mound, and the Toronto is 3-2 in his last 5 outings. They've won his last 3 outings where Gausman has started. 2 over, 3 under in Gausman's last 5 outings to that 7.5. 4 runs a game for the Blue Jays to 3.2 for their opponents. Last 5 outings for Gausman, 28 1/3, 32 hits, 10 earned runs, 4 walks, and 11 home runs. And in his last 5 outings, the 10 earned runs, 6 came in one game versus Tampa Bay. So he got hit pretty good in that one game, but he's only given up an average of 1 earned run a game in the other 4 games in his last 5. So in his last 5 outings, Gausman has a 3.18 ERA and a 1.27 WHIP. So, and has only given up 1 home run. So very, very stout there over his last 28 and a third. Only given up 1 home run, a 3.18 ERA, and a 1.27 WHIP. So, something to keep in mind there. Now, Gausman, the Blue Jays are 3-2 on the road this year when Gausman starts. 3 over, 2 under. They're scoring 5.4 runs per game to 4.6 for their opponents. Comes out to an even 10 runs per game average. In Gausman's road games this year, 28 2/3, 27 hits, 11 earned runs, 3 home runs, 7 walks. Comes out to a 3.46 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP, and he's giving up only a little less than 1 home run a game over his last 5 on the road this year. And if we look at his overall stats this year, the Blue Jays are 7-5 when Gausman starts this year, 6 over, 6 under. He's got a 3.13 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, and 0.78 home runs per 9 in his 12 starts this year. So if you look at Gausman over his last 5, what he's doing over the whole year, and then what he's doing on the road this year, it's all pretty solid. I mean, nothing really stands out where he's, the ERA is hovering around 3, between those 3 splits, coming in at probably about 3.20 ERA between those 3 splits. And Blue Jays looking good on this side of the cap. I mean, 6-4 in their last 10, 5-4 in their last 9, 8-10 in interleague play. And they're doing good when Gausman's on the mound last 5, and they're doing good Gausman whole year and good when he's on the road. All winning records, all pretty favorable ERAs for him. And the only time he's got shelved in his last 5 outings was the 6 runs he gave up against Tampa Bay. And we all already know they're one of the better hitting teams in baseball, one of the better teams in baseball, I might add. So let's get into the Braves side of this cap. The Braves this year, they're also 6-4 in their last 10, 19-11 in their last 30 games, 17-10 at home. They're 6-5 in 1-run games, and they're 15-9 in interleague play. So all those things a little bit better, marginally better than the Blue Jays. Playing better at home, 15-9 in interleague play, whereas the Blue Jays are 8-10. But again, everything comes ebbs and flows of the game. You know what I'm saying? Ups and downs. We look at the Braves in home night games this year, 14-6, very, very dominant at home. Those games have come against KC, Oakland, Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia, Detroit, the Cubs, Red Sox, and Nationals. So 14-6 for the Braves in their 20 home night games this year, 9 over, 11 under. They're scoring 4.8 runs per game to 3.35 for their opponents. That's a 96-67 run differential in favor of the Braves. And the total score is coming out to 8.15 runs per game average in the Braves' 20 home night games. Now, over their last 9 games, the Braves are 5-4, 6 over and 3 under in those games. In their last 9, the Braves are scoring 4.44 runs per game average to 3.88 for their opponents. Comes out to 8.32 runs per game average. In their last 9 games, the Braves have scored 5+ 5 times, and their opponents have scored 5+ 3 times. So food for thought there. Now, situational angle for the Braves. They're going from a road trip back home with a day off in between. In that split, they are 6-2 in their last 8. They're scoring 6.2 runs per game to 2.63 for their opponents. Comes out to 8.83 runs per game average. That's a pretty good stat. Now, we did say the Blue Jays are from road to road series with one day off in between. They are 4-3 and they're scoring 4 runs per game. But in the situational split for the Braves, they're 6-2 in their last 8 games where they go from a road trip back home with a day off in between, and 6-2 over their last 8, and they're 2-0 in that split this year, scoring combined runs of 5-2 and 11-5 for their opponents. So 16-7 in those 2 games this year. Pretty solid. That comes out to an 8 to 3.5 runs per game average in that split for them this year, where they're 2-0 in that split, but 6-2 in their last 8, where they're scoring 6.2 runs per game average. So this Braves team not looking to stop anytime soon. On the mound, the Braves, they got Bryce Elder. The Braves are 3-2 in his last 5 outings. The Braves were shut out in his last outing. In his last 5 outings, Braves, again, 3-2, 3 over, 2 under. They're scoring 3.4 runs per game to 3.8 for their opponents. Comes in at 7.2 runs per game average. Last 5 outings for Elder, 29 innings pitched, 24 hits, 11 earned runs, and 9 walks and 3 home runs. So in his last 5 outings, he's given up 11 earned runs, but 5 of those earned runs came in his last outing. In his last 5 outings, Elder, 3.41 ERA, 1.14 whip, 0.93 home runs per 9. So he's pitching just as well over his last 5 as Gausman is. If we look at Gausman on the whole year, the Braves are 7-5 when he starts this year, 7 over, 5 under. The Braves are scoring 4.58 runs per game to 3.91 for their opponents. The wins have come against, this year for the whole year, have come against the Athletics, Cleveland, Miami, Washington twice, Seattle, and the Dodgers. The losses have come against Arizona, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Boston twice. So a mixed bag there between the wins and losses of the competition that he's seen. Did beat Washington twice, did beat Cleveland, Miami, Seattle, and the Dodgers. So some good wins in there as well. On the year, over 12 starts this year, Elder has a 2.50 ERA, 1.08 whip, and 0.63 home runs per 9. So he's having a fantastic year as far as what he's getting done. Now, when Elder does start at home this year, the Braves are 4-3, 43 and a third innings pitched, 37 hits, 10 earned runs, 3 home runs, and 11 walks. He's got a 2.07 ERA, 1.11 whip, and only given up 0.62 home runs per 9 over his home starts this year. So between his last 5, his overall average for the year, and then home this year, he's got some really good numbers. So this should be a pretty good pitching matchup between both these guys. If we look at some of the metrics for team metrics, the Braves are number 2 in baseball on home runs with 84. Toronto's coming in at number 20 with 56 home runs on the year. So 84 to 56 home run advantage for the Braves. The Braves are number 1 in baseball in RBIs with 310. And Toronto checking in at number 22 with 233. So almost 70 RBIs differential between these two teams. Braves, number 1 in hits in baseball with 534, but Toronto coming in at number 10 with 491 of them. And if we look at quality starts for pitchers in baseball, the Braves have 26 quality starts for their pitchers this year, and Toronto has 16. So a mixed bag here. You got Michael Harris, you got Baldwin, you got Acuna, you got Albies, you got Olsen. Guys, if I'm going to look at this game, I think it all leads to one thing. I think you got to go with the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I don't know why this line's short. I mean, all metrics show that the Braves are playing well. The situation that they'll be coming back home, 6-2 when they have come off a road trip with a day off in between, and they have that first game back home, 6-2 in their last 8. I know Gausman's been pitching good, but I do believe that Atlanta will somehow find a way to win. Now, if we look at who's got saves, you got the number 11 guy in baseball coming in with Iglesias with 10 saves, but the Toronto does have the number 13th guy in Major League Baseball, Varland, with 8 saves, but still the Braves with the last at bat, the better save pitcher, better hitting, playing pretty, considerably the same towards what Toronto's been playing over their last 10 games. Both teams 6-4 in their last 10, but both teams 5-4 in their last 9. Both teams scoring 4.44 for the Braves over their last 9 to 4 runs per game for the Blue Jays over their last 9. And again, the Braves are playing better in interleague play, 15-9, whereas the Toronto is 8-10. I'm not really a big Gaussman fan. He always seems to let me down. So Wager Detective is going to call that minus 120. I don't care if it looks like a funny line. I'm betting the numbers and the advantages that I think I have, and I think the Braves continue to do what they're doing. Now, the only thing that the Blue Jays have going in the last 9, they are 6-3 versus the Braves in their last 9, and they're 4-5 in their last 9 at the Braves. And they're just barely run differential wise. It's pretty considerable, but I just feel as though Elder's pitching just as comparably as well. Gaussman's a good pitcher, don't get me wrong, but the Braves, I think this game goes under as well. So that's going to be the call here. Wager Detective calling the Braves minus 120, minus 118 on FanDuel it is, minus 118 on FanDuel, and I like this game to go under 7.5 with the wind blowing in. Could keep these teams off track. Usually when you're coming off that day off, coming back home or road to road, I think it's set at 7.5 for a reason. So I will say that the number, I will lean towards that because I saw a lot of this metric, and when you listen back, I think you'll hear it too, that the under is the play, and you're getting plus money at 7.5. All you need is a couple, 2-3 innings, 4 innings where there's no runs. I mean, I think we get there. And I like the Braves to win. So that's the call here. June 2nd, 2026. Wager Detective calling the Atlanta Braves money line, minus 118, and under 7.5 at plus 100. This is Wager Detective. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And always remember, guys, Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'll talk to you soon.